Hi, this is Holly.
And hello, this is Christy.
We are a sister duo, and together we have conversations that we weren't having anywhere else. So, if you've been asking yourself, is this it? Pull up a chair. This is Henlet's Collective. Today, we're going to actually be talking about passion, but more specifically, where did my passion go? You know, being middle aged, I've lived a life already. I have raised a family, been married, had a career. I was still missing that spark, that drive, that passion, I guess, if you will, that eludes us at this age.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Holly. There was a time that I thought something was wrong with me because I couldn't name my passion. I couldn't figure out where my passion went. It's not something that we talk about every day or ever, really. And so when this subject, and you came to me with this subject, it just truly intrigued me. We normalize passion, and a lot of us are desensitized to life around us. It's passionless, pretty much. And I know that through my own life choices, my passions may have dimmed. It's not something that I really even have thought about. So I just do things. I work, I cook, I clean, I take the dogs for a walk. Everyday routine things that I have prioritized over finding what I truly want to do. Really love this subject.
Well, we actually had a meeting with some of the girls. It was actually about passion projects. You know, how could we start something that we were passionate about? So, you know, somehow it ignited a fire, somehow, some way with all the brainstorming that we were doing. And my question is this where my passion went? Is this what it is? Like you said, when you and I talk, we talk about family. Hey, how are you? Hey, what are you doing? And we don't talk enough, like you said, about what really sparks us. My everyday existence is mine is get up every day, take a shower, have my coffee, take care of the dog, and come to find out her passion has disappeared. Where did it go? I mean, I guess at my age this is I can be passionate about getting up out of bed.
I guess that's something. Today we just came together, and so if you're wondering why we never talk about passion in depth, this episode is. So let's redefine passion, Holly. So I've been doing a lot of research now. You and I have talked so much on this subject, and we both have just done a lot of research on different things, right? And so something that I'm learning through doing research and just kind of finding what other people have said about the subject, it's not something that you discover, it's something that you develop. And it's not like a lightning bolt is going to hit us, right?
So, really, kind of before we go too far into this, though, I kind of want to go between the lines for a minute. This isn't about a book, it's about what it stirred up. I actually read something recently that kind of talked about passion. Like, it's supposed to be loud and obvious. And it actually just made me realize how, like you said, how much pressure we put on ourselves just to feel something all the time. In the books we read, for book club, our characters almost always find a second life, and possibly find the passion that they were missing. But the line that stuck with me was about how passion doesn't disappear, it just changes shape. Truthfully, that kind of landed harder than I expected. And so it's kind of like, what do we not get told about passion at this stage of life? And like you said, maybe we should just be redefining it and putting a new discovery on it, because maybe in your 20s and 30s it doesn't look the same as in when you're in your 40s and 50s and so on and so forth.
So think about it, Holly. Whoever really taught us about passion and what to be passionate about and how to be passionate about things, right? Growing up, you and I were really close in age. And so we found like what made us happy. And then the later on in life, we kind of had our own life. You had your family that you were taking care of. I had my own things that I was dealing with. And we just kind of found our own ways and our own things of doing things. And we've talked so much over the years about so many different things, right? But I don't remember after all of our years ever talking about this particular subject.
Well, so do you think that is that just an us thing, or do you think that's an everybody thing? When we sat down to have this meeting with the girls, and everybody's passion is different, obviously. Maybe some people's is traveling, and maybe they've already done all the traveling. So now, since that passion is done, where's their next passion? It just, like you said, it changes shape. And obviously in books, it's fictional characters. And so it's easy. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Life doesn't work like that. And I think that when we talk about passion, especially as middle-aged women, we've already done everything. So now what does the next years bring us? I feel like now, not always is it going to work like this, but especially when you are struggling to already find yourselves in a place that even can bring you any kind of remote happiness. Does happiness equate to passion? No, not necessarily. I don't think.
Thing is
books.
Being good at what you do. So you can be amazing at what you do, but does that equate to passion? Same thing.
Yeah, no, that's true. When you start reading and then actually doing homework on it and thinking and brainstorming, it's like, oh my God, where did it go? What have I been doing with my life?
I also feel like social media, our society, everything changes year by year. And I think it's seasons that we go through. And so growing up, it was just going to be a different season than when I had a family. And then my passion was something else. Then it was work. And then now it's something else. So it's just different seasons. And I think our passions change in those seasons too.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. Well, okay. So when it comes to passion, what's the thing that you don't usually say out loud? Let's talk about the quiet part. I know that for you, you said your spark is gone and you don't know if you even really had it in the first place, or did it just fade? It just makes you feel like, do we all feel like this?
Yeah, but I also feel we all, especially at this stage in life, we have so much on our plates. We have bills, we have work, we have homes, we have kids, we have problems. Everyone has these things in life. And I feel that when you're just dealing with everything, that sometimes that pressure weighs down on you and that kind of takes over doing what you really want to do or doing what you're really passionate about. And so maybe it's just time we took back and really started asking ourselves, what does make us? What does interest us? What topics are we interested in? What topics can we talk about forever? Do you ever do that with yourself? If you're being totally honest as we do this episode, do you ever ask yourself, like, what really, really makes me happy?
I feel like for me, it's easier because I don't work. I don't have kind of the expectations that a lot of people might have, or the permissions to, I don't know. I literally sit at home by myself all day, every day, and all I do is go through my brain. That's why I have gray hair. So I talk to myself. I mean, I sit on the couch and couch rot sometimes because I'm like, what is going to make me happy? What is going to make me passionate about something? That's why I started DIYing. That does bring me passion, as you know, because you get the brunt of my messages. Hey, what should I do here? Hey, this is what I'm going to do. Because that is literally what brings me joy. I love DIYing. Now, am I any good at it? Lord, no. But it's just one passion. And I feel like there should be multiple passions. It doesn't have to be stuck to just one thing. And now we started this podcast. I was very passionate about starting this podcast because this is what I feel like we needed. Then I brought it to you, and I was passionate enough to make you question it and like, oh my God, yes, let's both be passionate about it. And you work, so you don't have the kind of time that I have, but that doesn't necessarily equate to you not having more passion or less passion than me. it should give you that rush, that feeling of accomplishment that, you know, I don't know, maybe people are just tired and don't want to think about what brings them passion because they have too many other worries in their brains that don't have that kind of room to think about.
Yeah, because when I think about it on the day to day, I worked hard climbing up the corporate ladder, had to be at the top, wanted to do this, was really passionate about just climbing up and being the very best that I can. And then it comes down to it, and you're mentally exhausted. Then that mental exhaustion kind of just takes a toll on your physical exhaustion. And then pretty soon your entire body is exhausted. And that's just kind of where I am at right now for myself. I'm mentally exhausted from having to put on this smile every day and pretend that everything's okay and pretend that I'm passionate about my job and pretend that I'm loving it. And then deep down, I'm like, man, what am I doing? So is
Yeah.
it my job? Is it my home? Is it and so talking about this, it really, I'll just say it sparked so much inside of me, right? And so then I'm thinking, man, I, I really have lost my passion and I really have just kind of let myself be exhausted from all the pressure of life. And I want to find it again, right? I just got burned out in survival mode. And you know what I've been through in my life and you've seen me go through ups and downs and all arounds. And man, I think at this stage I'm just burned out from having to survive. And I have a great home. I have a great marriage. I have a great life now, but I've worked hard. I have worked hard to get those. And so now it's just hard to
Yeah.
find out, like, what do I want to do?
Yeah, yeah. When we had the meeting, I realized that I actually hadn't done anything that excited me in months. And I think it made me realize that passion isn't always loud, it just changes shape. Like you said, it's like a season, and sometimes it whispers, and we just forget to listen. Think that we have let obligations and duties to override what we might be passionate about.
Yeah, there.
That's the hard part that we just don't talk enough about or even realize that it's actually just it's lost somewhere in the whispers in the wind.
True. Very true.
I'm glad that we kind of had this discussion because we don't, and like I think we said that passion might look something different for someone else. We are not all the same. What brings me joy is not going to bring you joy.
True.
Now, can passion be something that is the same as it looked when we were kids or in our 20s or something? Sure. It doesn't have to change. That's why people become doctors and lawyers, because they're passionate about what they do. That's not for me. But people do it, right? But I think that for women especially, it's just harder because we tend to be the caretakers of everyone else except ourselves.
True.
And so I feel having this meeting that kind of sparked this whole thing was just so perfect because I am passionate about this podcast. That is absolutely for sure. And I, so much so that I have a co-host. I have people that actually want to listen to what we might have to say without knowing the topic. And that's the part that I love, because when somebody else is passionate or when you're passionate about a project, it's going to show. It's going to come out as, oh, I can see where your joy is coming from.
I totally agree with that. If I think about it, this whole segment or this whole episode, it just kind of really makes you get down to the nitty-gritty of what's in your heart. And so for me, I think I have a fear sometimes of doing things because I don't want to fail or I don't want to get judged. So I love crafting, right? I love crafting, I love sewing, and I've always wanted to open up my own store and kind of do this whole thing. But man, it's not going to pay the bills. And I think that's what holds me back from doing it, right? And so over the years, I just stopped doing it because it's just for me. I have enough stuff around the house. And so I'm always talking myself out of doing the things that I really love. And I don't know why that is, but talking myself out of it, I think, is just my own fear of failing or not wanting to take that step. And someone's telling me my stuff is horrible, whatever it may be.
Yeah, no, that's actually kind of a good point because passion can come out to be fearful because you're passionate, but maybe you're too passionate and you care too much about what joy it brings you, and you don't want to have someone else say, "Oh my God, that's so stupid."
Exactly.
And thankfully, I mean, in this instance, thank God I was passionate enough that brought you passion in a sense that this kind of was a topic that we did not ever talk about this. And it made us go, oh my God, where did our passion go? Not ours, well, mine, ours, yours, whatever. When we had the meeting and it just, I don't know, we were talking about something else. And I was like, maybe I should just start a podcast. Okay, well, what's our podcast going to be about? What's going to be about anything and everything? Conversations that have gotten out of book club, which this is out of book club, because we met in a coffee shop to have a conversation about a passion project, whatever. And I was just truly excited to get this started and get this going. No, I didn't do it blindly. I was passionate enough to do my research, thankfully.
Yeah. Yes.
And so, but like I said, being home all day by yourself, it's easy. It was easy for me to do that, but it only took me a second to be like, oh, wow, I can't wait to get this started. Hey, how do you feel about doing this with me? And we have our next few topics already lined up, but we won't go into that. You and I don't talk enough anyways, because one, you're 3 hours away, and two, we're just, like you said, you have life, I have a life, sort of.
We only text almost 24 hours a day, but that's not the same as talking, is it?
It's not. No,
So,
no, not really. No, that
no.
is so true.
No. And again, it really did ignite something in me. A lot of things that I've read, like, I think we want to force our hand and say, I have to have one passion in order to say that I have passion. And I disagree. I totally disagree. It doesn't have to be lifelong. It doesn't have to be forever. It can just be for a season and it can just be one small thing.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. I thank you for saying that out loud. I actually never would have thought about that. Now, I do feel like it can be multiple things at once, but I didn't think about it being just for a season. I love that.
well, yeah, I mean, think about it though. Yep. Raising your kids after your kids leave, and then now, just as different seasons in life. I'm determined to start really sitting down and figuring out what I really want to do to make myself happy. And to all of our listeners out there, I really just want to encourage you as well. Maybe just sit down, reflect on what you would really like to do or what makes you happy in your life. And just remember, it's waiting for your attention. It isn't lost. And what would you try?
Yeah. Let's take a quick hen house check-in before we close today with our hens, and just a moment to breathe and kind of be honest with ourselves. But also ask, if someone heard just this minute, would they feel something? In one word, how are you really doing and what's behind it? But we can't use the word fine. So for me, I'm inspired because this has been so inspiring, and it's definitely been work. I've been working hard to get this off the ground.
If I had to have one word, It's something you and I discussed yesterday. I'm driven. I'm driven to just kind of find what makes me happy again instead of letting life take over what I do on a day to day. Really find and drive what I want to do as a person.
So let's just kind of before we go, I kind of just want to name what I'm taking with me from this conversation. So I'm taking the reminder, because we do need that reminder, that passion doesn't disappear. It just asks for honesty and it changes shape. So if you're listening, maybe notice what you're taking with you too. And you don't have to do anything. Just kind of carry it gently with you and ask yourself, are you being honest with yourself?
Yeah, and I think some of my takeaways from today are really finding out what energizes me and realizing what drains me, and just knowing that curiosity is enough. Don't fear curiosity. Just try baby steps, even if it's baby step, putting a toe in the water and just trying something. And that may be a start to something really great. You don't know.
Yeah, awesome. Next week, we'll be back with another topic, but in order to keep the conversation going, remember to hit like, subscribe, pull up another chair. This is Henlet's Collective. We'll save you a seat.